Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Uncle Mad here live, trying to do this live streaming thing here on the channel for tonight's watch along with the Nashville SC versus Inter Miami match. Always a challenge. Someday I'll figure out how all this stuff works out, but so far today is not that day. I did a bunch of test streams and stuff before I went live, trying to see if I could figure out the best way to do this. Had a few things that went well that seemed like they were going to work well on the channel, but I think ultimately they'll probably all fail in the live stream because that's what usually happens here is once I go live, everything completely falls apart, so would not expect anything different today. MLS has cooperated in this regard because obviously we're starting, 11 minutes into the match right now. I swear, I almost think there's like a personal campaign against me to mess me up with the start times for MLS matches, because anytime I think the match is going to start at a certain time, it starts right on the exact time it's supposed to start. Like, I usually think, like, most of the time MLS matches, they're like 6:30, 7:30 start time. I feel like if I'm in the stadium in my seat at 7:30, the match doesn't start till like 7:50, 8 o'clock. If I'm home ready to watch it right at time, it doesn't start till 7:50, 8 o'clock. But tonight, decided I want to do a watch along, or kind of live stream to go along with the game. Starts right on the button, right on time. So I'm like 12 minutes into the match before anything has even happened yet. Luckily, nothing's happened yet, but it's inevitable if you haven't seen the lineups, you've seen the pregame for this match. It is scary. Nashville SC, all three designated players not available for this match for whatever reason. I haven't looked on Twitter, so I don't know the latest update on Hani Mukhtar while he's out, but I know Zimmerman and Surridge have both been dealing with injuries. Obviously, Surridge didn't play at the weekend against Atlanta, and he's better off for it because nobody covered themselves in glory in that match. But Surridge came out of that match or in training. I don't know when exactly it happened with an injury as well, so he's out today. Hani's on the bench, so I don't think he's injured unless there's like a small knock that Gary just decided to protect him for. My hope is that, just looking at the matchup, looking at the injury situation, Gary just said, at Inter Miami midweek after a tough match Saturday, this is the match. If you're going to focus a match for this week, it's going to be the Charlotte match at home on Saturday and not this match against Miami, because it would take a very, very good performance to beat Miami if you're at full strength, and with arguably our three best players all out, it's going to be even tougher. Honestly, surprised he played Dax given the situation. I mean, Dax was a key guy in the Leagues Cup final. Talked about that on Battered Herons podcast video. My guys over there, go watch their channel about how key he was to kind of limiting Messi's abilities in that game. But almost figure rest Dax and just have him at full strength for Saturday if Saturday's the game we're going for. But I don't know. It hasn't been terrible so far. I mean, of all the things in the lineup that troubled me the most, it was that we're playing Brian Anunga, bless his heart. Works hard, tries hard, but for whatever reason, this season's just been a disaster for him. Like the first couple years here, I thought he could be maybe a long-term replacement for a Godoy, a long-term replacement for a Dax, but his passing was never at that level of those two guys. But it's something you could always hope, you can work on this, you can get better at passing. And it just never has come to be for him with the passing. And this season, the kind of one thing you could hang your hat on with him, his defensive work rate or his defensive abilities just have gone out the window. He's been just like a chicken with his head cut off every time he's played. I don't know that we've won a match that he's played this year. Like, it feels like every time I've seen him on the team sheet, it's been like warning, warning, warning. This is going to be a bad match for Nashville SC. So, if you just showed me the lineup minus him, I probably would have been like, you know what? It might not be the worst thing in the world. There might be a chance here. But when I see him in the lineup, that's just instant, like the idea of Brian Anunga trying to be the guy responsible for stopping Lionel Messi is just not ideal. But I mean, we're 15 minutes in and haven't been scored on yet. So I mean, at least there's that. We can hang our head on that for sure. That's at least one thing we can hope for. I also think Gary might have got hair plugs. He was pretty close to going bald in the early days here in Nashville SC, and he's got some good-looking hair growing in these days. Like, I thought he was a fellow bald like me, but he might have, with, his MLS contracts, decided to have, fixed the up top. But here we go. Lionel Messi on the ball. Free kick into the box. Good defense by Dax on the header there. Man, I don't know. Don't have a great feeling about this match. It just feels... when I saw that lineup, that was just... it's just a catastrophe. Like, this can't possibly be the lineup we're playing in this match. But, you got to pick and choose your battles. There's only a handful of games left in the season. Every match counts. You got to look at, see which ones are the ones that you need the results the most in. And, getting 3 points Saturday against Charlotte certainly seems like a easier option than 3 points would have been tonight. So, can't fully blame Gary in that regard for choosing to do what he did. Got the Bear of Texas, my good friend, in the chat. Got Connor. Hello there, Connor. Bearman of Texas, I just got done with your FTR versus CM Punk. Or not FTR versus CM Punk, they're buddies. FTR versus... now my brain doesn't work. FTR versus... why can I speak English right now? FTR versus... Young Bucks. Golly. Just complete shutdown on my end. FTR versus Young Bucks. Great episode as always from you there. Love the shout-outs I got from you there. Definitely we're going to have to get back together and do some episodes sometime in the not-too-distant future. Appreciate the shout-out there, obviously. Thank you, sir. Can't wait to get back on. Yep, Young Bucks, thank you. I don't know why my brain just could not put that together. There's been so much CM Punk news coming out of that show that he's just the focus. That's just where my brain went to, is just all CM Punk all the time. Oh, Busquets at the back post. Interesting thing about like the streaming era of broadcasting sports is how many of us are like synced up. It seems like everybody's streams are always going to be off. It's been a big talk in like the sports gambling community is like, if the stream is that far behind the game, what does that do to, live betting games, stuff like that. It's interesting. So like, it's always interesting to like do these watch alongs where I'm 1850 into the match, but are there people who are watching who are ahead of me? Are there people who are watching who are behind me? You never know. It's always crazy. That's Elliot Paneco. That's another interesting lineup decision today. I thought Joe Willis, he wasn't bad against, Atlanta at the weekend, but coming off Elliott's good showing in the Leagues Cup, it was a rough game to come back into the team for Joe Willis. So I'm not 100% surprised to see Elliott getting another shot here. Chris Pinzo, center referee, great guy. Participated in some Zoom meetings with him, some Zoom stuff with him. Oh, man, everybody's like, Messi's such a good guy. Show respect to Messi. He's the one initiating the contact there with Jack Marr. Grabbing at him, pushing at him. Great guy, though. No disrespect to Messi. Messi's the GOAT. There's no doubt about that. I want to make that clear because I got some stuff like on like my earlier Messi video when he came here to Nashville, or like, oh, you're being disrespectful to Messi. I'm always going to boo the opposing team. I'm always going to root for the boys in gold, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I respect and recognize that Lionel Messi is the greatest of all time. Bear of Texas says, sick of CM Punk. Just keeps happening with that guy. If you don't follow wrestling, you probably don't know what we're talking about, but yeah, oh my gosh, that has got to be some kind of card there, Chris Penzo. That is completely reckless by the Miami player. That has to be some kind of caution, some kind of card there. Like what did I do? Just barges through Dak aggressively. That's a card for me, friends. Arm showing, leads with an elbow. Take your pick. There's plenty of choices there of what you can go with for a cautionable offense. Bear says Zidane, best of all time. Hard to argue that. It's one of those things you can always compare eras. There are some videos back in the day from Zidane. He was on another level. He was ahead of his time. I'd love to see him playing in the modern era because people don't do it the way he did it now. It's So much more team based, so much more, press, possession based, but just he could do it all, man. He was pretty incredible. Mm. It is just all Miami when it comes to possession, coming attacking. A very different game from when we played them here in the Leagues Cup final. They had a good 20, 30 minutes, and then we kind of came alive. Hopefully maybe we hold on a little bit. Second half. Whew. Goodness. Not feeling great about this match at all. Oh, man. Okay. Good take by Elliott. If you thought this was just going to be a watch along, some soccer chat, I've got some surprising news for you. This is also going to be a borderline like mukbang video because we have delicious food from Buffalo Wild Wings. So I'm going to eat my dinner and share my thoughts on the fabulous, stupendous, always fabulous, great Buffalo Wild Wings. Got a Parmesan garlic wing gifted to me by my wife because she did not want this one. I was probably gross to watch that live or whatever. So Jesta, wife, beautiful, lovely, wonderful woman. She went with the garlic Parmesan wings. Just tried one of those. It was very good. I did something a little different today. Instead of getting the sauced wings, I went with the dry rub, the Buffalo Seasoned Dry Rub. I don't know if I've tried that before from Buffalo Wild Wings. I was like, yes, Buffalo Dry Rub as opposed to, your straight up sauce. This is worth a shot. Let's give it a shot. We'll see how it is. Not too bad. Not bad at all. I almost kind of like this better than like the sauce because it's like, obviously a little bit less messy. Watching Messi play, so obviously I want to be less messy. These are all connecting. Everything's coming together. I've also got another screen I'm watching the Braves on when they start. They're about 35 minutes from first pitch, it says. So double watch along. Braves and Miami versus Nashville SC. You get everything in this video. This is what you come for. All kinds of content. Mukbang, baseball, soccer, football. Uh-oh. Whew. Messi. That was one of those moments you expect him to do something there. Good defense by Jack Maher to shut it down. You're going to have his chances in this match. There's no doubt about that for Messi. Another thing, you can play the best defense against him for 88 minutes, and all he needs is like one moment where you just miss a chance, and he's going to do what he's going to do. Yeah, Barrett Texas said, hilarious about that soft taco complaint he got about the tacos being too soft. Man, I was in the service industry 14, 15 years. The stuff you hear from customers, bless their hearts. Bless their hearts, because, it's one of those things, like, I think I've always heard this thing where people will say, like, everybody should have to work in this service industry for 6 months. It should be like a requirement because everybody would be totally different to how they treat restaurant employees, restaurant staff if they had ever been in that situation. And it's true. So you hear something crazy like that, and it's like, absolutely everybody should at one point in time work in the service industry just to get an experience, just to see what it's like. because it is absolutely insane. It's absolutely crazy in there. The things people complain about, the things people will say, it's just on another level. That's Soft Taco. I've heard a million versions of that story of, well, I ordered a cheeseburger. I didn't know it came with cheese, or ordered a hamburger. I didn't know it didn't come with cheese. Just the crazy things you'll experience if you ever work in the service industry are just unreal. Customer once complained about a soda being too cold. Yeah, it's a different world in restaurants. This looks like shit. I don't know what this is. Is it terrible? Do. But despite all that, 115 outside ridiculous. Despite all that, I wouldn't trade my time in the service industry for anything. I mean, cooking videos, the stuff we do like that on the vlog, I wouldn't be able to do that if I hadn't worked in kitchens, worked as a chef, worked as a bartender, worked as a server, that stuff. Uh-oh. Almost sprung Fafa there. That was a good pass by Dax. That was what we were really missing in Atlanta. It's scary that a 36-year-old center mid being out is what unhinged our attack. It was just, we didn't have anybody who could connect those passes, who could pick that ball out the way Dax just did there. Almost had Fafin behind. Good job by Miami's goalkeeper. Which, good for him. He just, on the back of the strong Leagues Cup performance, goalkeeper of the tournament, man of the match in the final, Drake Callender, getting called into the U.S. national team. Well-deserved. Well-deserved from him. I know there's people who are critical of Greg and his team selections, but I mean, that is, rewarding a player for good form, bringing him in. So happy to see that. I thought the roster that was announced today was pretty solid away, but that was kind of what gave away that Zimmerman was probably not playing in this game, because he was on a list of players that were officially announced as being out due to injury. So it's like, well, you're not bringing him in for the upcoming friendlies because he's injured. That probably means he's not playing in this random game on the same night. So tough spot for Nashville SC. Tough spot. Do what you got to do, though. That was disgusting. Man. That's a good example right there. Like, obviously people are going to be on different parts of the match, not exactly linked up with me, but a very similar build of play to what Messi scored his incredible goal he scored at the weekend was, where a couple quick passes and then he just goes. We did a good job of tracking him. We didn't let him go. That was the crazy thing. If you watched the game, who did they play this weekend? Charlotte? Was it Charlotte that played this weekend? Everybody was freaking out about the pass he made, and it was an absolutely incredible pass, to find the Kramaski and set it up. But I think everybody kind of ignored was all the, I want to say it was Charlotte. I think it was Charlotte. Defenders just completely stopped following Messi after he made the pass. So they were so blown away by what a great pass it was. They just turned and were like, oh, we forgot we should probably still be defending this guy. But yeah, no, you can't take anything away from Messi. He is an all-time legend. But not the best, according to Bear, Texas. That's the Don. And I can hear that case. There are very few people that you can put in the conversation with Messi and make a reasonable case for. Zidane is probably one of them. It was New York Red Bulls. German Rodriguez in the chat just shouted that out. I'm glad you reminded me, because I remember I was watching the Nashville SC game, so I just saw the highlights later. I can't remember exactly who they played, but yeah, it was New York Red Bulls that Messi put on a highlight tape again against this past weekend. And I would agree with you. I do think Gary, with this lineup selection, definitely, had to pick and choose his battles and felt like Charlotte at the weekend for us is a better opportunity to get 3 points in this one. So, but that's just, guessing on my part. Obviously Surge is hurt. Obviously Zimmerman's hurt, but don't know the extent to what their injuries are. And, he's been with Hani. There was the game against Minnesota where we were up so big in the League's Cup, and people asked Gary after the game, you were up 4-5-0. Why didn't you take Hani out, give him a little bit of rest? And Gary said, I trust Hani's judgment. He'll let me know if he needs to leave a match. He'll let me know if he wants to keep playing. So the fact that Hani's not playing tonight, that either had to be like a deep conversation between him and Gary, with Gary explaining why he didn't want him to play, or Hani may have had a slight knock, a slight injury, a slight something where Gary said, hey, it's probably better if we hold you out for this one and save you for Saturday when we can really go get 3 points. So it's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating as a fan. You want to see your team put the best team out every time. You want to see them go for every single win. But long season like MLS has now, we played all these extra games in League's Cup. You can also kind of sympathize, kind of understand why the manager would decide to try to be a little strategic in his lineup selections, with basically 3 matches in a 7-8 day span. Big shot by Robert Taylor just over the bar. I think that's the craziest thing about what Miami's been doing, has how Messi's presence has just lifted the whole team there. Like the way he's apparently inspired the team to just come alive. Like against Red Bull this weekend, Messi didn't start. Busquets didn't start. There was a lot of rotation there. They played a lot of their players that were playing earlier in the season before they kind of turned their squad over, and they, it's almost like him being there has just inspired the squad. They've got confidence they didn't have before. They were up 1-0 on or 1 or even 2-0 up on Red Bull before Messi even came in. It's a crazy teal. Oh! How's it offsides? Last touch was off a defender. Man, and Teal's looking like he's a little gimpy. That's not great. Yep. Okay, great. Now Till Benbury's limping. Perfect. Star designated player striker out injured for this match, and now our veteran MLS striker that we, hope could nick a goal here and there is now also limping, and I don't think he's going to keep going in this match. Yeah, that's not a I'm selling a foul injury. That's a I'm actually hurt injury. Oh, boy. So it's got to be Hani or Shafa who comes in here, which I certainly would rather either one of them be in the game than Teal Bunbury, but ugh. I guess this is our penance for having a great run in the League's Cup. Was we had a good run, we had fun. It was an experience we'll never trade, but injuries, fatigue, it's gonna just ruin the last little stretch of our season here. I think one of those crazy things, like you feel like how strong we were at the start of the season, even with that bad skid we had right before League's Cup. You would think we're pretty solid position, but we sneakily. Is that Ken Griffey Jr. as a photographer? Is Ken Griffey Jr. a photographer? Is this like a prank MLB's playing on like everybody else? Like Randy Johnson was a photographer for NFL, and now Ken Griffey Jr. is there. Floyd Mayweather is at this game. This is insane. I mean, the Messi coming to America is real. Like, it's crazy. Like, this is like, I feel like when Beckham came, it was like a 1 or 2 game thing. Maybe like the bigger matches, more celebrities came out. But like every single Miami match, the celebrities have turned out for Messi. And I mean, he's a different level than Beckham ever was, so you can understand it. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. This is insane. Like, is that King Griffey Jr.? Is that really King Griffey Jr.? Or is this like a lookalike situation? Was it really Randy Johnson being a photographer for the NFL? Like, both situations, I'm so confused by. Just the weirdest thing in the world. They keep showing this guy, so they either think he looks like King Griffey Jr. or it really is King Griffey Jr. I don't have the volume on because I don't want to like risk getting like a copyright strike where I'm broadcasting, the audio gets caught by my broadcast and risk a copyright strike. That happened with one time I was doing like a, was it WWE? I think I was doing like a live stream at WWE, like in like the very early days, like one of the first things I ever did on this channel. And it caught like, I think a wrestler's like entrance music and like, it was like, boop, your stream has been kicked off for, copyright violation. Jeremy Rodriguez in the chat said, "Where's Sam?" He popped up on the injury report ahead of this match with a lower body injury. Don't really know what that is. Hamstring, ankle, knee, quad, could be anything. The weird thing was, like, if you've all been right, he's kind of like the main like guy that covers the team, one of like the lead journalists that covers the team. He kind of tweeted out that Sam was in the media availability ahead of this match, which usually is an indication that you're planning to play. But, Gary's always finicky with injuries. Leal, he kept saying Leal could be back within a week, and then he was out for like 3 months. So you just never really know how to get a read on what the injury situation is with the team when it comes to Gary and stuff like that. And I think, like I said, at some point in his head, he looked at Charlotte at the weekend and said, which match do I want to be at full strength for? This away day at Miami or a home match against Charlotte, and probably pick the Charlotte match. So, don't know what the injury is, but he was on the injury report, and that's why he's out of the squad today. Looks like Teal's continuing on. No sub has been made yet, but he's running okay now, but I don't know. Oh, just got hacked down. 2 hacks. Which one? There has to be a card here at some point in time. This is like Manchester City tactics of just like hack them down anytime they might have a chance to break on the counterattack. And just hope the ref doesn't give a yellow card. And that's a kick out. That's a yellow card. You got to give something there. Two just like hack downs to break up the attack. You have to give something there if you're Chris Penzo. Interesting for Randall Leal today. Got called back into the Costa Rican national team for I think the first time in like 2 or 3 years. It's interesting timing to get that call in there for him. It's like, what has he done this season that like made the Costa Rican national team be like, oh yeah, now's the time to bring him back? We haven't called him in like 2 years. Like, he's been out injured the majority of the season. Came back for like 2 or 3 games, got injured again. Now he's been back for like a game and a half. That ball was moving on the free kick, but we're just going to let that go, I guess. It's gotta be incredible to be a Miami fan. Just to like randomly like have like the worst season of all time and just instantly mid-season become the best team in the league. It's gotta be so awesome. Like, there's only one Lionel Messi. He's the only player that could ever, in the history of sports, do something like this. Like, even somebody like a Michael Jordan, like a Tom Brady, if they just went to the worst team in their respective leagues in the middle of a season, I don't think them alone would be enough to completely, turn that team around. Like, if Michael Jordan randomly went to I'm trying to remember who was really crappy in the 90s in basketball. I don't know. And Messi got help, obviously. Busquets is there. Jordi Alba's there. They've definitely improved. Joseph Martinez and DeAndre Yedlin were already there. But, this team would still be pretty bad if it was just Sergio Busquets that came in, if it was just Jordi Alba, if it was Busquets and Alba. It's Messi. It's all Messi. And I don't think any of the players, the other GOATs across sports history could have turned a team around mid-season the way he's turned Miami around. It's incredible. If we get to halftime, I don't want to jinx it. No, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to say that. cut that from the record. So, I got these like queso bacon fries from Buffalo Wild Wings. And this is one of the things like I always hate about like cheese fries, nachos, is when like you order them and they just plop all the toppings right in the middle of like the fries, right in the middle of the nachos, right in the middle of chips. They don't spread them out really well. So like I've got like a little stray fry over here that's got nothing on it, and then I've got like a big wad of bacon and cheese right in the middle. Kind of annoying. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh my God. That was a little wild. That was a little reckless from Elliot, but cleaned it up in the end. Speaking of Miami players that got called in the national team, I'm going to butcher his name. Karmeski? He's like a dual national that's been like come to life under the Messi era too. He got called in by Greg in the national team. You know, hopefully we can. That's one thing. For all the criticisms of Greg, he's done a good job of like these dual nationals that have the choice of like nations they can choose from, getting them to choose U.S. You know, Florian Bagalan, whose name I probably just butchered, is the most recent example. I think there's another guy who was called into this squad that's similar situation where he's got dual nationality where he can choose two different national teams to play for. He's getting called in by the U.S. to get his shot to come in with us, but you know, we'll see. But well earned by the Miami players. I mean, it's good to see form rewarded. Like a lot of people want, like, you know, what's my problem with the whole Gio Reyna situation? Like, if we just like put all the players in a bubble, ignore everything that happens around them, is Gio Reyna one of the most talented players in the U.S.? Absolutely, not a doubt. You know, he's probably on pure talent. Oh my God, what a ball by Messi! That was incredible. Gah. Holy cow, that was an incredible pass by Messi. Robert Taylor just put it wide. But you have to, like, you know, I appreciate that the manager will take form into question. Like, Gio Reyna has been hurt nonstop for the last 4 years. He's hurt again. Like, he's not available right now for the national team because he's hurt again. So you bring in the players you can rely on. You play the players you can rely on, because if you got a player that pops his hamstring every time he touches the pitch, what are you going to do? I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people. I'm not necessarily pro Greg Berhalter, but I'm not as anti Greg Berhalter as like a lot of people are. Like I think he's done some good things for the national team. I don't just like, you know, act like he's an idiot, or like some people who are just like, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's never got anything right. He's like, well, I mean, he got us back to the World Cup, got us to the quarter or round of 16. I don't know, in a really tough group. Yeah. That was a great example right there in the difference in squad quality, what it can do for you. Dax with a great press, triggers at the exact right time, turns the ball over just outside the Miami 18. And it's Teal who's like the next man up, the next person available. Not Hani Mukhtar, not Schaffelberg, not, you know, Fafa. And it's just an instant turn. I mean, that's another just crazy foul in the middle of the field. That has to be a yellow card at some point in time. I mean, it's like 100 fouls. Every time we get the ball and start to try to counterattack, it's been a foul. It's been legit the Man City strategy of just like make the foul in the middle of the field, break up the counterattack, hope for the best. Got a lot of respect for Chris Pinto, but he should have had a card out much earlier than this. Like, that's why Sergio Busquets felt like he could get away with like such a hard foul right there. Well, it's not Busquets. Whoever said Busquets was the one doing the most complaining. But like, you think you can slide in stud showing to break up a counterattack? It should be a card for Busquets. He put his hands right on Pinzo. If Busquets didn't get a card, he put his hands on Pinto twice. If Busquets didn't get a card there, that's unbelievable. So Gomez got the yellow card. If Busquets doesn't get a yellow card there, then, I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Back to Greg. Yeah, Barra, Texas. Another great shout out. Greg, 2 straight Nations Leagues. Basically won every tournament he's had a chance to win. This last Gold Cup didn't go the way we wanted it to, but I mean, he technically wasn't in charge of the Gold Cup, although he was probably shadow in charge of the Gold Cup. Like, do I think the U.S. is ever going to win a World Cup with Greg Berhalter as their manager? No. But do I have, like, realistic expectations of what the... What are you doing? Oh, my God. I know people probably aren't at the same moment as me, but Teal Bunbury just, like, instead of bringing the ball down and controlling it outside the 18, just flicked it out of bounds for a goal kick, like, 20 yards when nobody's around him. Yeah, but I mean, I think the people who don't like Greg, don't like Berhalter, probably have unrealistic expectations of what the U.S. can do. Can we do more? Can we achieve more? Can we get beyond the round of 16? Absolutely. But I also think is like, I got a buddy who hates Greg Berhalter. Sorry, I'm talking about me. And the question I always ask him is like, okay, I got no problem if you want to hate a coach. If you think a coach is bad, you know, been through a terrible run of coaches with Manchester United where things haven't worked. But my question, like when people like start blaming the manager, start blaming the coach for everything, is always, who else is there? What's the next option up? What would you do? Who'd you bring in? And the most part with the U.S. national team, nobody can really come up with an answer because there's not really, you know, that many realistic coaches. Like, if we're being honest, like, you know, Pep Guardiola is not going to come coach the U.S. men's national team. Jose Mourinho, he's not going to come coach the U.S. men's national team, you know. I've had a couple chances where he could have gotten Tata Martino, but, I mean, he didn't do so well when Mexico had him. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you can argue, you know, that you don't like Greg, but you got to come back with who's the other option? Who are we going to get? Who's the next up? And most of the time when I ask that to people, like, yo, okay, you don't like Greg, who do you want? BJ Callahan became a popular thing because he won like a couple games, you know, while he was serving as interim, but he's basically running the Greg playbook. So, I don't know. I try not to be too pro Greg because I definitely don't think he's the best coach like possible, but I also try to recognize the realism of the situation. All right, it's 0-0. Halftime. I can't believe we're here. I thought it was going to be a much... I'm shocked that we've held on for this long. But Messi's going to have his moment. You just know it. I don't know if like you can bet like live odds of Messi scoring. Like he was probably like insane. Messi to score was probably crazy pre-match. But like halftime, maybe the odds are a little bit better. Maybe go get that Messi anytime goal scorer now. I don't know. I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to turn the stream to a little intermission screen for a minute. Finish up my eating just because I don't want to just be rambling and babbling throughout halftime. But stick around. We will be back for the second half. right, we're back. Second half about to kick off here for Nashville SC Inter Miami. I think I got rid of that. Media foul. Like, literally, we just got into the field and there's a foul already. Two subs from Nashville, Shafa and Hani are on. Bunbury and Leo are off. Positive changes. We've seen Gary. My dad was texting me, why isn't Hani playing? And I was like, we've seen this before, where Gary has kind of thought better of in a tough match like this, if it's there for the taking, if there's a chance to win, bringing Hani on late to go for it. Oh! Immediate impact from Hani with a rip, just high of the bar. Good ball from Schaffelberg there. He may have been offsides, though. He might have been on. Yeah, we've seen this from Gary before. Like, he felt like Hani needed rest, give him a match off, and, if it's there, if we have a chance in the second half, bring him on then. And that looks to be the case here. Just got caught out. Miami breaking now. Good press there. Good break of the press, I should say. In the chat, even Zidane will say Messi is way, way better than him. Never put him in the same position. You can't run through players the way Messi and Maradona did. I would tend to still lean Messi, but I would also tell you, look up some old Zidane highlights. You may have only seen Zidane in like the later part of his career where he was more of a deep line playmaker, but look at like the Juventus era Zidane. Look at like the 98 Zidane at France. I mean, Busquets, that's just hacks Hani down from behind. No card. Still no card for Sergio Busquets. I mean, what are we doing here? We're just gonna act like he shouldn't have 2 yellows right now. I mean, he put his hands all over the referee in the first half. Now he's just blatantly breaking up an attack by kicking Hani's Achilles heel. I mean, I try not to put on the tinfoil cap. I try not to say, like, Miami gets special treatment, but I mean, the fact that Busquets, let me double check. Let me just double check real quick, because I don't want to, like, act like things are going a certain way when they're not. Maybe he's on a yellow already. Let me look, because I don't want to, like, speak out of turn, because maybe a yellow came out when I didn't see it. Okay, so he did get the yellow card for the earlier foul right there. Give the ref the benefit of the doubt, or is that, did he give it to him just then? Yeah, that was in the first half. He got the yellow card. So, I mean, a lot of other players, that's their second yellow card right there, though. Still, but yeah. I would encourage you if you like beautiful soccer, if you like players taking players on in the dribble, look up some like 98 to 2000 Zidane. You might be a little bit surprised by the things he was doing back in those days. My guy, the Bear at Texas, while I was away, he did mention that Thierry Henry is now the head coach of the French U21 team. And I saw that as well, and I thought that was a very interesting move. I know from, following soccer and also, like, listening to... I mean, that's another just takedown in the middle of the field when we're on a break. Every time. It's ridiculous. Start giving cards, Chris. Every time we break through the middle, they just hack us down. It's the City playbook. It's the Manchester City playbook. Got a breakaway, chance to counter, just knock him on the ground. It's blatantly breaking up a promising attack. Stopping a promising attack. It's Spa. They've done it 20 times in this match. They're going to keep doing it till he starts giving yellow cards. I mean, this is just ridiculous. It's frustrating because, like, I don't think we have a good chance in this match. I don't think we should be in this match. But, I mean, if we're just going to let Miami keep hacking us down with no repercussions every time we have a chance to counterattack, because that's our best shot is the counterattacks. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Sergio Busquets. Another foul on Sergio Busquets. How many? How many does he get, Chris? That's his second. Oh, is he not giving that one to Sergio Busquets, who didn't commit the foul? Is he giving it to Robert Taylor to like protect Sergio Busquets? Is that Sergio? That's got to be his second, right? This is... How did Robert Taylor get that? He's not the one who made the foul. I mean, how do you give that to Robert Taylor? Sergio Busquets makes the foul. This is insane. This is ridiculous. Tinfoil cap is fully on because Sergio Busquets commits a foul and Robert Taylor gets a yellow card. What are we doing? What are we doing, guys? Bringing it back down. Bringing it back down. Bear of Texas, my good friend. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but he mentioned Thierry Henry is now the U21 coach for France. I thought that was a very interesting move when I heard about it because obviously if you follow people that can follow the French team, including the Bear of Texas, I mean, that's a foul. Just going to keep letting it go. Oh, we finally called something. Same guy who just got a yellow card a second ago, but we're just going to let it go. I mean, they're just going to foul us every time we touch the ball. So, I mean, Tata's very confused about what fouls are, apparently. I'm very confused about how many fouls players can do before they get a yellow card. That's where I'm confused about. Anyway, could Henry be being lined up to be Didier Deschamps' eventually replacement with the French national team? I think a lot of French fans probably have wanted him to be replaced for going on 5-6 years now. Seems like he's hanging on through at least next summer's Euros. But, at this point, Henri's got a lot of good coaching experience. Obviously we saw him here, had a decent run with Montreal and MLS. He worked with Roberto Martinez as an assistant with Belgium. So, seems well groomed. He seems well set up to potentially be the next guy to lead the French national team. Be interesting to see how that plays out. We're going to try to be a little calmer here. That was a little frustrating stretch of the game for me. Gone. Fafa. Let's run out of space. I mean, it's a good strategy by Miami to just hack Nashville SC down every time they're about to break, because that's our best option in this game, is to hit quick counterattacks through Hani, Fafa, and Shafa. So it's definitely good to use the Manchester City strategy of just break up every counterattack, hack us down in midfield, keep doing it until the ref makes it stop. Like, if he's going to keep letting it go, there's no reason to not keep doing it. Oh. I do think one of the coolest things about Messi coming to MLS is hearing, how engaged, how humble, how influential he's been with the players in the Miami teams. That's got to be like a crazy, intimidating thing, especially because they have such a young squad and across the board. Like, to have him come in and be like open and accepting and not like a diva or a D-bag, that's got to be like such a cool thing. And that's got to be a big reason, just beyond his play on the field, why they've had such a turnaround. Is it's just like the way he's probably inspired the other players, is probably like giving them confidence. It's because we've seen a lot of players that have come to MLS and not given two craps about being here. Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard. Messi clearly wants to keep winning, wants to keep being successful, wants to be a part of this team, wants to, work with the players that are there. That's nice to see. Braves first inning underway. Braves are throwing Darius Vines tonight, his first MLB start. He's the, I believe they had him listed as the number 10 prospect in the organization. Been doing this thing all season long. The Braves have been doing where they kind of like rotate up a player from the minors to give them an extra starter, to give their like starters an extra day off. So instead of like a traditional 5-man rotation, sometimes they've been going with like almost like a 6-man rotation where they use players that have options available, bring them up for a game, send them back down, just to give the key starters extra starts, extra rest, which is it's worked out pretty good for the Braves. I mean, they're the best team in baseball, record-wise so far this season. So Nashville had a decent flurry to start the half, and now Miami is starting to turn the screws a little bit again. Come on, Dan. Oh, Yedlin just cooked Danny. Oh, Martinez looking for the beauty. Well snuffed up by McNaughton. Okay, and now we've got a handball on Sergio Busquets breaking up a promising attack. What does this guy got to do to get a second yellow card? Does he have to punch a player? I mean, how many fouls, how many infractions, how many promising attacks is Busquets gonna be allowed to? Oh, honey! Oh, great late challenge. Great late challenge by the Miami defender. And Hottie might have been off anyway. I don't know. I haven't seen a replay yet, but wow. Great last-ditch tackle by the Miami defender. Wow. But I think Sergio Busquets might have to stab a player to get a second yellow card in this game at this point. Messi looking to make something happen. Nashville trying to keep it close. Dak staying tight to him, lays it off to Busquets, who shouldn't be on the pitch at this point. Corner kick for Miami. Miller. Absolutely brilliant challenge by Miller for Miami. Perfectly timed, perfectly put in. Still don't know. Haven't seen a replay that will show if Hani was offside or not, but I mean, that's great defending. That is an absolutely brilliant tackle right there. Good take by Elliott. Messi was looking for an Olympico there. It's kind of the one thing he's got left on the check mark is to hit an Olympico or one of those crazy goals like that you just never see. All right, I'm a bit of a soccer boot whore. I love boots. Like I would buy new boots every year when I played. I just was always obsessed with the new colorways, the new editions when they come out. And I will note, I don't know if this is a good thing or if this is a bad thing, but Brian Anunga has switched his boots at halftime. He was wearing blue boots in the first half, and now he's got red boots on. Oh, good challenge by Dax. And, of course, Dax is going to get a yellow card there. I mean, Busquets has done the same thing 20 times in this match. Good foul. Did what he had to do. Deserved a yellow card, but, I mean, Busquets has done the same thing 20 times, and, is what it is. I think on that one, Dax was just trying to get another Messi jersey. He got the Messi jersey after the League Cup final. He just like, I got one. I want the pair. I want the collection. So he just tried to pull Messi's jersey off of him. It made total sense to me. Definite foul, definitely yellow card. Terrible place to give up a free kick, though, because this is prime Lionel Messi territory. This is one of those spots where if you could, have Messi just decide where he wants to take a free kick from, he would probably pick this spot. So maybe not the best foul for Dax to give up there, but if he doesn't foul him there, Messi's breaking into the box, and you don't know what can happen from there. So set up your wall well, Elliott. Be ready for anything. Now Dax has to be the one that gets punished and has to lay down behind the wall. My microphone's back here. I just realized that.
Dax has to be the one punished and has to lay behind the wall. Interesting thing here in high school soccer, they have banned players laying down behind the wall for safety reasons. I don't know how many people in the chat are watching this know this. I'm a referee. High school soccer, NFHS has banned players lying down behind the wall for safety reasons. Messi! Oh! Elliott. Good save by Elliott. Not Messi's best free kick, though. I'm sure he would want that one back. I think he tried to get Elliott guessing. I think he wanted Elliott to think he was going near post and try to catch him off guard back post. Fafa! Ah! Man, we've had a few great balls in behind where either Miami's made a great challenge late or we've just taken a terrible touch. Oh my God. What? I mean, Messi's unreal. Like, Schaufenberg put in a great challenge on Messi, and somehow the ball just pops right back to Messi's foot. It was like very reminiscent of the Zimmerman challenge where the ball just went right back to him. Like, he's unreal. Like, it's great control, great touch on the ball, but just the ability to know where the ball's going to bounce, know where it's going to go, and be able to make sure your foot's right there to grab it. He is unreal. He is on a level not many players. Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, is at this match. Guy who should probably be fired and get the hell out, but he's there. Wow. I wonder if he's ever been to an MLS match before. That's crazy. That's wild. Of all the people to be there, that was not what I expected. Good tackle. This Miller guy, he's got that Aaron Wan-Bissaka in him where he knows exactly where to put in a good sliding challenge, to not give a foul, to not do anything. Two really good challenges that if he mistimes them at all, he's in trouble, and he's just got them perfect. He was a guy, he had an interview. I liked his talks where he talked about the Leagues Cup final match, and he said it was his favorite match, just because of the atmosphere, because we were the first team, Nashville, that didn't just, bow down to Messi and roll out the red carpet, that we actually made it a competitive environment, from a fan perspective. So he's got my respect for, saying that, and he's got my respect for putting in some really, really, really good challenges in this match so far. So given our Nashville SC's recent slump, and given Miami's just like all-time resurgence, I had it in my head that the ultimate just like thing that has to happen, because we seem to have played each other 50 times this season, is they're going to work their way up to the 9th spot. We're going to drop to 8th, and we're going to play in that play-in game for the last spot in the MLS Cup playoffs. Feels like we've got like the Joker, Batman, I think you and I are destined to do this forever thing going on. Came in the league same time together. Not really, necessarily a direct rival because we're not local to each other. There's obviously not a regional thing, but I think just the nature of, I think there's definitely Nashville SC fans that had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, feeling like that we were playing second fiddle to Miami because Miami got all the attention when we came in at the same time, and then we went on to be more successful early, and now they're finally getting their flowers and finally doing their thing. Dax coming off, Godoy coming on. Also looked like wheels coming off for Hawkinson. Hawkinson had a brilliant match one time against Toronto where he just like carried us to a come from behind win. But like at the restaurant we were watching the watch party on Saturday against Atlanta, Hawkinson came on and I took my napkin. I took like a fork and put it on there and I waved the white flag. I'm like, if Hawkinson comes on, you're out of options. You're out of hope. Because he ain't it. And I think the hope with signing Sam Surridge, with the players we brought in was that Hawkinson would not be a player we'd be coming in late in matches hoping for the best. But Sam's out. Here we are. Oh, my God. Huge save from Elliott, but he definitely spilled that where you don't want to spill that. Nashville clear their lines. Can we get a counter? Hani on the ball, bringing it forward. He found Schaff in space. Go on, Jacob. Go on, Jacob. Go on, Jacob. Oh, big save by Callender. Big save by Drake Callender. He has been immense for Miami. My goodness. Up and down the pitch. This game is wide open now. Oh, no. Whew. Hawkinson, wow. Good chances on either end. This game is opening wide up. Messi, Busquets, Alba, they get all the headlines, but I mean, goodness me. This Drake Callender guy, what a run he's been on. What a run he has been on. Jacob, get there, Jacob. Kept it in play. But nobody's there. Golly, that pass from Hani to Schaffenberg was incredible. Credit Yedlin. He did just enough to make it difficult on Schaffenberg to get the shot he wanted. But a great save by Callender. Once again, Drake Callender, very deserving. Got called into the U.S. national team for this upcoming camp and friendlies. Oh, good cleanup job by McNaughton. Whew. If anybody happens to wonder, I zeroed out the clock on this because the program I'm using to run a scoreboard on this stream has a clock. It says keep the, clock in the foreground or it'll lag, it'll fall behind. I did that. Still lag, still falling behind, so I figured it was just easier to just zero it out and just not have a noticeably way behind clock running. I think the biggest problem with some of these streams lately has been I think my computer is just too old, doesn't have the power to fully support live streaming the way, a full-on PC or like a Mac, like a full, Fafa's offside for sure. Definitely offside. Hani's going to score here. Scored, but that's coming back. Fafa was a mile offside for sure. Not you, Hani. You didn't do anything wrong. Fafa was a mile offside on the initial ball. It's correct. Correct call there. That's the kind of attack we have to have here. Those counterattacks right there. That's where the chances are for us in this game. But Fafa's got to hold his line better. He's far offside there. Oh, Kevin Pillar, home run for the Braves. Top of the third. Solo shot. Oh, Fafa's. No, there was a replay. I was about to say Fafa's it again, but it was a replay. Joseph Martinez coming off. Luis Campagna. I don't know if his first name's Luis or not. Campagna's coming on. Carnamachi's coming on. Robert Taylor coming off. Ruiz coming on. The youngsters who've been so brilliant for Miami through this stretch, they're coming in. Campagna, who definitely think he wants a little redemption after that horrible miss he had against Nashville. He's coming on. No Braves, though. The Braves are at least leading against Colorado. I almost said Colorado Rapids, but they're the Rockies. Oh, it's going to fall well. That's got to be a foul. That's not a foul? I mean, he just cleaned Fafa out. I mean, how are we not calling that a foul? I got a lot of respect for Chris Penzo. But he has... That's a foul. He gets ball, but he takes the man too. You can't take the man and the ball. You got to have some control before you take the man out. Great play. Miami keeps it alive. We're sleeping a little bit. We got to wake up a little bit. Great challenge by Fafa. Oh, put your hands up for a foul there. Get out of here. This is wild. 71% possession for Miami, 29% for Nashville. Miami averaging over 59% possession in their last 9 matches. I mean, it's easy to keep possession, though, when like your game plan is just we're just going to foul every time there's a break for the other team. They're good, no doubt about it. They're good. They maintain possession. But, I mean, if you just stop every transition, every counterattack with a quick foul, it's easy for you to reset and get your shape back. That's what Manchester City built their whole thing on. They don't do it as much anymore. They've got a more, overall capable team. But for 2-3 years ago, it was turn it over, make a foul. And this isn't like me as a United fan, like hating on them. This is, you can go back and watch the Amazon Prime, what do they call that? In it to win it. Whatever the Amazon Prime like Hard Knocks for Premier League was, the City season, Pep Guardiola. There's literally like video of him in the like locker room going, "You turn the ball over, make a foul. Turn the ball over, make a foul." That was literally their tactics. It's like, if we lose possession, make a foul. Make the referee make the decision. And Premier League refs, just let them get away with it. Just let them foul every transition, every breakaway. Didn't card them, so City just kept doing it. Kept working. They don't have to do it anymore because, like I said, they're such a complete, such a well-built team now that they can kind of just do what they want for the most part now. They don't have to resort to that type of tactic. Oh, Anunga. Do not do that. Anunga and McNaughton teamed up there to try to make it seem like they were about to give us a penalty because McNaughton had a bite at the heel. McNaughton sliding in. Hits his arm, but it's in a natural position. But we've seen that given as a penalty on McNaughton before, where his arms are inside his body where they're supposed to be, and he still gets a yellow card. Check is complete. Corner kick to Miami. Messi puts it in. Dan gets it out of the area, but Miami maintains possession. Well, that's a foul by Hackinson, but we'll play advantage. Goal kick. Bad foul by Hackinson. That's probably a yellow card for me as well. But one of the things they've instructed us as referees in recent times is if you play advantage, it can no longer be stopping a promising attack, because if you're playing an advantage, the promising attack wasn't stopped. So that's probably, maybe some of the justification why Hawkinson doesn't get a yellow card right there, because it's a foul that breaks up a promising attack, but it falls right back to Miami. The promising attack continues. So I don't know. That's been one that's been hard to judge now, because it used to be always you get a foul like that, you think it's a yellow card, you call it advantage, you point at the player, and you're like, I'm coming back to you. But now, okay, 50th time we've been hacked down. We're trying to work in transition. There's a yellow card. Chris Penzo finally gave a yellow card. Avils. I mean, just nowhere close to the ball. Just completely goes in, takes the player down. Same thing we've seen the whole match. Same thing we've seen the whole freaking match. So I'm trying to catch up on some stuff from Twitter. Ben Wright reports that Joe Willis did pick up a knock, and that's why Elliot Panico got the start today. Smith said it was a planned rest for Hani in this match. But there are definitely people that are like, I've seen on scrolling through here as well, that, why did Hani play 89 minutes in a blowout loss against Atlanta on Saturday and rest tonight? Could have got him off at 60 and had more of him tonight, arguably. Also reported that in his pre-match comments, Gary Smith said Zimmerman and Surridge were both close calls for tonight and will hopefully be available for this weekend's home match against Charlotte. He just kicked him in the shin. Jesus Christ. He just kicked out at him. At this point in time, Pinzo set the tone that he's going to let stuff go. But, these are cards in, 7 out of 10 matches, some of these fouls. Yeah, I'd be surprised to see Zimmerman in unless there was some kind of request or communication between the national team and Nashville SC to, give Zimmerman the week off. Give the cup the break off since it's just friendlies. Hidden Name says you're lagging. I'm sure I am. That we don't ever do any live stream here that is completely successful. So I'm just going to power through on this one. Normally I would try to reset, try to figure something out, but on this one I'll just do what we can. I mentioned earlier in the stream, I think my MacBook's on its last leg, so trying to run streams through it probably doesn't work pretty well. Saying is like I get pretty good video quality when I stream through my phone, but the mic quality never works when I stream through my phone. So it's like I can't ever get everything on the same page. I can't get video, can't get audio on the same page. Someday. Oh, God. Anunga just blocked that with his ass somehow. Oh, good chance to break, and Fafa picks the wrong pass. Schaffelberg was in behind him, but he's facing the wrong way. He doesn't get the shout. Man. Man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Good challenge by Anunga. That's the best thing he's done on defense all season. Come on, Schaff. I mean, every freaking time. Every freaking time. Are we not... Wow. Yedlin just completely takes Schaffelberg down from behind. Nothing. Nothing. Schaffelberg's in. He's breaking away. Yeah, you're going to call that one. That is ridiculous. Chris Pinzo. Tinfoil hat is on. Tinfoil hat is officially on now, because if that's not a foul and that's not a yellow card on Yedlin hacking down Schaffelberg, that's a... Schaffelberg's breaking in. Literally one defender back behind Yedlin. Yedlin pulls him down from behind. Nothing. It's a foul on Maurer. It's a yellow card on Maurer. It's 100%, but should never get to that point because it's a foul on Yedlin in the first place on the Schaffelberg break. Tinfoil hat is on. Pinzo has let Miami do whatever they want in this match. This is ridiculous. Every time we break, they hack us down. Every time we break, they hack us down. And they've got like 2 yellow cards. Busquets should have been off in the first half. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Unbelievable. I don't like to criticize referees. I'm a referee, but I have no doubt he's afraid to make calls against Miami in this match. There is no doubt about that. He is intimidated to make calls against mighty Miami and their favorite son, Messi. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous referee performance. Ridiculous. Pinzo should be ashamed. Embarrassing. 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 Hopefully somebody shows him that foul that he just decided was not a foul on Yedlin right there. That's a yellow card. The clearest yellow card you're ever seen. They'll put that one in video clips over the next couple of years that they'll show to us referees and be like, what would your decision be here? It should be a foul. It should be a yellow card. That'll be one they put in highlight packages for referees to review in the future, because that was, I mean, that's the easiest call you can make. It's a breakaway. Player hacks another player down from behind. I mean, literally, Busquets just tried to like take Hani out just right there. I mean, that's all they're doing. Their entire strategy is just create fouls, break up the attacks. That's a foul. That's a foul. Oh, you got your card out. Are we gonna do anything here? We're just gonna let it keep happening. They tried 3 times in the build-up to foul him. Finally got it on the last try. No card. Literally just same shit that just happened on the other side of the field with Messi. No card. Same foul on the other side of the field is a yellow card on Jack Marr. Nothing here. Chris Pinzo is a clown. This is unreal. I mean, how is that not a yellow? How do you give a yellow on the opposite side of the field for the exact same fucking foul, and that one's just nothing? Like, I get it. It's Messi and friends. There's going to be a certain level of protection. There's going to be a certain level of grace given to them. But Hani Mukhtar is the reigning MLS MVP, getting hacked down, no additional action taken by this. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Here comes Messi again. We win the ball back, and he just knows exactly where to jump in. He's unreal. I mean, like, you can't deny him. For whatever frustrations I have with the officiate in this match, it has nothing to do with the performance of Lionel Messi. That's a mukbang right there for you from the wings earlier. Mukbang for a Mukhtar. I feel like that's the thing. That's the thing we probably should have done as Nashville SC fans by now, is like come up with like a joke of mukbang versus Mukhtar. I don't know. God. Another foul. Another foul unpunished. Just, I mean. Busquets, 30th foul of the game. I don't know how many you need for persistent infringement, but I mean, not much in that one, but I mean, it's his 50th foul of the game. Like I reffed a college game this afternoon. Weirdest thing in the world. Reffing like a college game at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, middle of nowhere, Tennessee. Still confused about why that game got scheduled the way it did. But like the lesson is pro, college, high school, youth. Players are going to take what you give them, like as a referee. Like, and sometimes you read the game, you think, what should I call? What should I do? And it's one of those things like, is it cut and dry? Should it be cut and dry? Yeah, but you read the game, you understand the game. Game I had this afternoon, players started to get a little frisky. That's a penalty. That's a freaking penalty. Good Lord. He literally moves his hand out. That's a penalty. If that's not a penalty, I mean, what are we doing? Yedlin literally sticks his hand out and blocks a shot coming into the box. That's a penalty. It's not going to be given. It's not going to be given. We know. We know what's happening in this match already. We know. We know it's not going to be given. They're not going to do anything against Miami here. Not a chance. Not a chance. But like I was saying, the players take what you give them. You let them hack down every breakaway. You let them hack down every transition. Let them hack down every counter. Oh, we're going to VAR. This dude. All right, so we're going to VAR. Chris Penzo's going to the board. He has not felt any reason to make any decisions against Miami all night tonight. If he does right now, I will be shocked and stunned. I mean, that's outside of his body. His hand's extended. It blocks the cross. I mean, it checks every box for me. That's as clear a penalty as you can get from me, but Chris Penzo hasn't felt that, like, Sergio Busquets' 50 fouls are worthy of yellow cards in this game, so I have no idea what his judgment is going to be on this, because he does not want to have a meeting with Leo Messi after the game where Leo Messi will be like, hey, you shouldn't have given us that penalty because I'm the best player in the world.